So hello everybody, I'm Stephen Carlson. I'm going to get this whole thing started. Thank you for coming with me. This is Leap Day. I don't know. February 29th only comes once every 4 years. And for some reason, I suppose I find that to be an interesting date. And it just seems like fun to take this opportunity, this rare once in 4 years date, to do some very powerful work on manifesting our goals, or if you will, working the goals process with the Sedona Method. So I'll say a couple words about the goals process, not too much though. I do want to emphasize this is covered in the basic course, that is to say the super course, which you can find at sedona.com. Nevertheless, so the Sedona Method has a goals process, and it could be compared to manifesting. I think a lot of us have heard about The Secret by Rhonda Burns and the whole idea that you hold a goal, a desire in your awareness and associate all the good feelings with that and bring that into existence. I might have actually missed a few steps, but basically that describes the manifesting process. But what it might overlook, though, is that we don't always have clear feelings about our goals. We may want to achieve, well, might want to get the perfect job or to have the right partner or to even have just the car of our dreams. But we don't usually have just one set of feelings about that. Very often, there's some kind of a tug of war going inside of us at various levels, how we feel about our goals. One of the most common things, for example, is to feel that you don't deserve your goals. So a lot of these kinds of feelings happen below our awareness. We may not be conscious of the fact that we resist being paid money, but this is a very, very common feeling. And especially if you don't have money, this might be part of it. I can only speak from my own experience. So the goals process in the Sedona Method really starts with defining the goal. That is to say, creating a goal statement that's also described in the super course. And we've done a little bit of this work in previous calls. Now, if you don't have a goal statement, I'm going to help you with that in the first part of the call. And there are certain best practices or guidelines for creating a goal statement. But then what we do is we resist all the feelings that come up in association with that statement. And that's where the fun begins. And that's where the real power lies. In this process, we just dig further and further into our feelings about whatever we've identified as our goals. Lester Levinson, who is the founder of the Sedona Method, actually thought that this was unnecessary, meaning just by letting go of emotions, thoughts, limiting beliefs, we could achieve freedom and peace just like that without actually having to set goals. However, many of us do have a practice of setting goals. Many people think that's an important thing to do. And so the goals process, on one level, is a way of helping us to achieve these things with the Sedona Method. But on a very deeper fundamental level, sometimes we find that those goals, those things we thought were so important, will just drop away, which isn't a problem, by the way. And in the process of achieving goals, reaching our goals, we end up letting go of a lot of the unconscious material that's been buried from us. And that in itself has value. In fact, I think Lester might say that that has more value than actually driving away with a nice new car. But I won't tell you what to think or believe. Take this for checking. Let's see what your experience is. And another caveat would also be this: anybody who says that there is a perfect way of manifesting, of getting what you want, or any perfect goals process, well, this ain't the case. So your mileage may vary. Again, the goals process is a good way of using the Sedona method, but your results may vary. So I'm going to start things off just for a good few minutes, releasing on all of our thoughts, feelings, emotions about goals. And then once we do that, I will open the floor for questions, sharing, and assistance. So if you're ready, let's do a little releasing. I would invite you to get yourself comfortable. Hopefully, you won't be disturbed. And just as best you can, just allow things to drop. Allow yourself to be just as you are. And allow all to be just as it is. And as always, this is only just for now. And think about the word goal. Think about how you feel about goals. Think about what this, well, I say think about. Notice what comes up around the whole idea of setting goals and even around that word goal. And look also for feelings in the body that resonate. Notice what's happening in the mind, the mental activity that gets stirred up by this. And pay attention for any stories, beliefs that come up. They also may just appear as images and sounds. Just notice what is coming up, notice what is here. And when you're ready, could you just give it permission? That is to say, could you let it be like this just for now? And could you open even just a little bit further to what is? And then when you're ready, could you just let that drop? That means, are you able? And would you let this drop? Would you let this go? Are you willing? Oh, and maybe I should mention, yes is just as good as no. So just listen to your heart and notice what your heart says. Could you, would you let this go? And then when? And let's think about the past and your experiences with goals. Maybe with this goal process, maybe with previous calls. Notice any kinds of memories that come up about successes or failures. Notice any beliefs there might be. A feeling of you can or you can't. And notice the feelings, the sensations in the body. Just notice how all that shows up. And could you give it permission to be like that? And notice it's already like that. And then when you're ready, could you let that go? And would you let that go? And when? so. And then think about how you feel about your future potential. How do you feel about these goals coming true, manifesting? Or how do you feel about the possibility of failure in the future? Just notice anything that comes up. And just as best you can, could you let it be like that? And then check for any resistance to feeling that way. And then notice any sense that this is about you, personal, because of course it seems intensely personal. And then when you're ready, could you let this go? Would you let this go? And when? Okay, I'm going to stop things for just now. Just for now, I think that's a good beginning to the call. And I'm ready to open the floor to questions, sharing, and assistance. But also, I'd like to check. I just saw that Deborah entered the call, and I think that she was texting on support call announcements. Maybe not. No. Having problems getting into the call? Tell me what happened, please.
Yeah, we did. Are you hearing me?
Loud and clear.
Chantal and Marie Francois were also trying to get in. I had to go back and register again for the call, and then it let me in. When I just clicked on the link that you put into the WhatsApp group, it didn't, it just took me to the waiting room. So I had to register.
So sorry.
Yeah, the same for me, Stephen. Yeah.
So I was trying to go back and let Marie Francois and Chantal know if they hit the register again button, it should bring them right into your group call.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry to make you jump through hoops. I'm a newbie to Zoom. I've been using Google Meet, and you may know that there was a little issue that came up recently where I had to find a more secure way of running a call.
Right. No problem. Just
Anyway,
happy to be here. Happy to find you, find the group, find the meeting. So it's all good.
I'm just going to give a chance to see. So do I? Are you communicating in the background with people to help them?
Yes, I am, Stephen. I'm sending a message to Chantal and Marie now to go register again and see if they can get
doing that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay. Great. So, don't we all love technical difficulties? Yeah. So does anybody have a question, anything to share, or a request for assistance? And in particular, this could be a goal statement if you'd like to troubleshoot your goal statement, or if you don't have one, this would be a good chance to get a little help.
That's me. I wanted to work on a goal statement. I come up with a goal statement, but as I put in the group today, it feels as if that goal was more of a want masquerading. It was a goal masquerading as a want. So I guess I don't have
rausgeholt heute. Ja. Na, hallo Kirsten, du hast ja jetzt richtig die Labertasche rausgeholt heute. Hä? Du sprühst ja nur so vor
I've just muted Kristen. Sorry about that. That was Kristen. She's muted. Yes. Continue.
Okay, thank you. So I guess I'm back to my original goal, which is to pay off some debt. And there's a plan in place. And provided I don't come up with any new wants or desires, will culminate in November. So I guess I just wanted to share that as a gain because I'm sticking with the original goal, which is the best goal at this point. But that other goal, well, the other masquerading want, it just but I mean, I'm proud of myself because normally I would have just went ahead with the purchase and then been upset later when my original goal of paying off the debt didn't happen as soon as, because I would have been sabotaging myself. So
Okay.
that feels like a gain. So I guess I don't really have a new goal. I just wanted to share that part.
Well, it's wonderful to share again. Thank you so much. And again, gain sharing is I think critical to the whole process, because as we begin to open more and more to these possibilities, it just becomes natural. That is to say, the shifts that we experience has become part of our natural day to day. But did you say, Deborah, did you say that there was still something left remaining, sort of a hidden want of some kind?
There's still like a hidden want that I should have. That's what it was. That was the whole thing. I should have a goal because I haven't accomplished anything, or I'm not accomplishing anything. And I wanted something new and wonderful to happen. And in order for that to happen, you have to have a goal. And I didn't have I felt, well, I guess I just sort of beat myself up because the second goal I thought would have brought me to something more, but it would have taken away from the first goal. So it's just all.
So the mind is kind of getting into a little bit of a loop about this.
Yeah, about you should have had a better goal, or if you'd already completed that goal, you could have had the second goal, and that would have been easy to do. And I don't know, just
Right. But again, notice that this is the activity of the mind, is it not?
yes.
Yeah, this is mental activity. And just notice what the mind is and does. The mind is actually trying to help you in some way. Do you see that?
Yes.
Now, the mind's activity may not in actual effect be helpful to you. Nevertheless, it's important to notice the intention is positive and beneficial. And so, from that perspective, can you hold the mind in love and gratitude?
Yes.
And so, notice that the opposite of that would be what? To fight the mind.
Yeah.
And that's all
Yes.
part of the should and shouldn't loops. But what happens when you thank the mind and hold the mind in gratitude for what it's trying to do to help?
I don't think I've ever thanked the mind.
Well, just notice right now, how is the mind reacting if you hold the mind in gratitude? And again, gratitude flows naturally when you recognize that the mind is really trying to help in its flawed way.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
right. And so the question is, doesn't that feel a hell of a lot better than fighting the mind?
Yes.
Wonderful. And so what if these goals are on the way to being realized and achieved just easily and effortlessly? Could you be open to that possibility?
Yes.
Okay, then. Nice. Thank you for stepping up to be the first. And also thank you for helping others to get on the call, Deborah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you. So nice. Thank you,
Cool.
Stephen.
I'm going to move on now to Alejandra, if I could. Would you like to unmute and we can see what you need? Alejandra, there you go.
Hi, how are you, Stephen? I don't know if I was before the other people that raised their hand. Is that okay?
It's just fine. It's the order that I see it, and I'll do the best to be fair.
Okay. Of course, I understand, because I don't even know who was first. So, yeah, I do have a goal statement, and but I have a conflict, like that, double thinking, cognitive dissonance. I don't know. It's like I I know I can get it. I know I deserve it, but I don't deserve it. So,
Right. Okay, good.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
But this
And it's
doesn't
kind
make
of
any sense, does it? It doesn't make any sense. Hmm?
what the goal or my thinking. My thinking doesn't make any sense at all,
I'm
for sure.
playing. I'm playing with you. Of course, you don't. It doesn't need to
No,
make
but I
sense.
get you. Yeah. But yeah, it's just like I realized that when you started the call and I was listening to you, that I think it's coming from a belief or a punishment, a belief that I have to punish myself because I do not talk to my siblings because they're abusive. And it's been years, but there is that sense. I love them and I've practiced and I do love them very much. I just don't want them in my house. But, so I don't even have conflict in loving them or resentment, but it's with me that I'm kind of like punishing myself. No, you don't deserve that goal because you know what? You're not. Yeah, I don't know. Do you get me?
More or less. Again.
Okay, I can
So
explain more. Yeah.
no. It's not
Hmm.
necessary to explain more. The most
Okay.
important part of what you said is a sense that you need to punish yourself because you're not doing enough. You're not doing it right.
No, yeah, because I don't talk to my siblings, and that's a bad girl.
Exactly. So it comes down to you being a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So could you allow this to feel as true as it does?
Sure.
Okay. But notice also it's a story. Do you see it that way too?
That is a story.
Sure.
Absolutely, it is a narrative that I created. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can see it like that. And so
Yeah.
just notice again, though, how serious it seems to feel in this moment.
Yeah, it feels like a course.
Right. But notice also that it's a story.
Oh yeah.
Almost like you could put your hand through it. It really doesn't exist in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing is we're doing this holistic release going back and forth. So
Mm-hmm.
again, serious. And when you're ready, not
Mm-hmm.
serious. Illusion.
Yeah.
Okay, a little laughter is a very,
Yeah. I have
very
some
good
release
clue.
in there, right?
Very big clue. Very big
Yeah.
clue.
Yeah.
So what was your goal statement, may I ask?
Oh, sure. Let me get it here. I should know it by heart. I need to memorize this. I easily and effortlessly have and enjoy a loving partnership of inspiration. Trying to get some love going here.
Okay. All right then. One more time. Could you repeat it once again?
Sure. I easily and effortlessly have and enjoy a loving partnership of inspiration.
Okay, I have to point something out to you. At the very beginning, before you said it the first time, you said,
Mhm.
"Oh, I should have this more memorized."
Yeah.
Well,
I
but
thought of it this morning. I
notice,
said, mm-hmm.
notice how easily it flows from you.
What flows from me? The punishment? Very easy. That's automatic. Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, yeah. I'm trying
Mhm.
to be aware and observe that.
Well, actually, what I was suggesting was notice how easily your goal statement comes from you.
Oh, yeah, I really want it. I
No,
really
no,
want
it
a
doesn't.
boyfriend. Yeah.
But it doesn't strike me as something that you didn't memorize properly. It's something that comes
Mm-hmm.
naturally and easily. I just wanted to
Mm-hmm.
point that out. That's interesting.
Thank you. Thank you. No,
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah. So you're already at home with this goal. I can feel it. Just the way that you said it, it comes naturally to you. Or am I
Yeah.
wrong?
Yeah.
Good. I think it's a good goal statement if it resonates with you. Does it resonate with you?
Absolutely. It does. That's exactly what I want. And I want it to be effortlessly and easily.
But you notice that also there was this instant impulse towards punishing
Oh yeah,
yourself. Yeah, yeah. Just
always
notice
there.
that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, wait a second though. That always is a clue.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that point to? Is it possible that that's just a story too?
Absolutely.
Right. So could you just let go of wanting to punish yourself? Could you let yourself off the hook?
Oh
Is it
yes.
possible that you've been punished enough?
Oh my God, yeah. Way too much. Mm-hmm.
So then, awesome. Could you let go of needing to punish yourself, of wanting to punish yourself?
Yeah.
And would you let go of wanting to punish yourself?
Yes.
And when would you do that?
Right now.
Wonderful. Okay. And how does that feel for now?
It feels peaceful for now.
Good,
It
because
feels
we can,
that I could get there.
then I'm going to turn to the next person with their hand up. And what we'll do
Yes.
at the end of this, these questions and sharing and assistance, what we'll do is we'll actually do some releasing on the goal statements.
Oh, wonderful.
Good, good.
I'll stick around. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Did you mean to put your hand up again? No,
I tried to put it down.
I did that
Yeah.
for you. That's why you put it
Oh,
back.
okay. Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Not a problem at all. Okay.
Mhm.
Maxine, I think you're next. Is that right? You need to unmute and say hi. There you go.
I'll jump in for sure.
There you
Hi.
go.
Yeah, thank you this morning for just hosting the call and just getting us prepared for things to come. So thank you for that. So reading my goal statement, I have a couple, but what is coming to mind has to do with some of my financial needs. So what I wrote was, I allow myself to be open and receptive to my financial needs being met with ease and abundance.
Okay.
Yeah.
I allow myself to be open and receptive to having my needs met.
To my financial needs being met with ease and abundance.
So let me ask you a question, Maxine.
Mm-hmm.
Does this resonate with you? Does this
It
feel like?
does.
There
God, it
you go.
feels so wonderful. Wow. It just, yeah, I just kind of opens my heart to a big yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is what we're looking for. This is the goal
Yeah.
statement and its effect. Exactly right.
Yeah. So,
Well, in that case, we can call it a gain as well, I think. No?
yes, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Right.
Mm.
Well, I'm tempted to ask, is there anything else we can do, or would you be willing to move on?
No,
Or-
willing to move
Yeah.
on, sure.
That was a massive gain. Thanks for sharing that. That's lovely.
No, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for just acknowledging it. I hadn't seen it in that light so much, but yes, it is definitely. So thank you.
Lovely. And I'm just going to read what Chantel wrote to the group chat. She said, Alejandra, you really touched something in me there. Expressing your beautiful goal, I will steal it from you. Nice. It's quite okay to steal somebody else's goal, but only with one condition, as long as it feels like yours. So there you go. And I see MFT. Let me guess. Could that possibly be Marie-Françoise?
Hi. I don't even know why it comes up like that. I don't even know what. Anyway.
Well, we know. Hi, how are
Maybe
you?
that's how I registered. I just wasn't trying to type in my whole name. That's probably what it was. Yeah.
Could be.
Gonna have to be a quick one. I've just been feeling kind of stuck in my goals. I haven't worked for over a year now, and I had a call back yesterday, which, you know, is a gain, but I didn't leave it feeling like I booked it. And I feel like I was going back to I feel like this is going back to a time where I had a lot of auditions coming up, you know, years, and I just didn't book anything. And it was so disheartening and so demoralizing.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I don't know why I'm back in that cycle again. And funny enough, something came up at the last minute now, but I just still feel like this is just so much not what I want. And I just don't understand why I don't have what I want by now. I just,
So notice the feeling of stuckness. That's what's coming over loud and clear.
yep.
And just for a moment, is it possible to find compassion for the one who's stuck?
Yeah, okay.
And again, compassion really is that holding somebody in awareness with your heart and just wanting what's best. But also compassion contains within a kind of knowing that everything is okay. And that may be a stretch at the moment, but compassion is there. I sense that with you. And
You do?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
I'm
I
gonna take
do.
your word for it.
I do.
All right.
Hmm.
I'm doing something right, I guess. But yeah, let me just be quiet because
Good. Yeah. So let me ask you, is there a goal statement?
yes, and I hesitate to even say it again right now because
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I'll say it, but if you need me to say it.
Well, we're on a goals workshop. It would be appropriate to work with goals. I don't need you to say
Okay.
anything.
Let me try to remember it now. I don't have it in front of me. It's just, you know, being a series regular, just being in my job, doing what I do, and making a lot of money and playing a role I love, working with people who are happy to be there. Yeah, and that's it. I mean, I don't
So,
have it in fancy. I probably do have it in a fancy phrase somewhere where it's all like neatly summed up. I just can't remember off the top of my head. That's all.
mm-hmm,
This is my work. My goal is to succeed in my work.
mm-hmm. Well, so the goals phrase is kind of the center of the whole process that we're doing. And yeah,
Okay.
I
All right. If you need me to say, okay. So I now allow myself to be a series regular, playing a role I love, making tons of money, working on a great show and with fantastic people.
does that resonate for you? Does that feel like yours? Does
Yes.
that give you? Mm-hmm. Hmm. Notice what comes up when you think of this goal statement. And I just have to say, it's interesting that it was hard to bring to the surface and that you didn't want to state it. Can you notice any kind of opposition or resistance to it or no that comes up with it?
No, it's just that in the moment, I know that I'm upset about what happened yesterday and, you know, what it means for me today. Yeah. So I'm just feeling like it's taking very, 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 very long.
That's the core of it. So yes, yes. I can only speak to you from my heart and my own experiences, which is that I have goals which have not been realized and that do feel stuck. Absolutely, I understand that. And there are some goals that I've worked with for years and years and years and years. And it feels like, if you can just imagine a gigantic cruise ship, it's a huge boat in the water. And so turning the thing is going to take time and the application of a lot of engine power, right? So that's my feeling about some of the goals that I've had as well, too.
Okay.
And again, the whole practice of paying attention to gains for me is also part of helping me understand that even though there can be incremental movement, there is still movement. And does any of that resonate with you? Does that actually match your experience in some way?
No, this is my profession.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a hobby. It's how I make my living. So it's not something that can be taking years and years and years and years, because what am I doing then? How am I living? How am I supporting myself? So I don't want to go back to doing what I used to do to support myself. It wore me out. I'm not doing that anymore. This is the time. So no, I'm not, I don't know what your goals were, so I'm not trying to invalidate that. I'm just saying that for me right now, no, it shouldn't take, it's not like I was going in the opposite direction, so I have to turn a ship around to go into some other direction. That's not my experience with this.
Mm-hmm.
So. Were we only supposed to talk about games on this call?
Of course
Maybe
not. No,
okay.
no. This is sharing assistance. And there's a third one that I've forgotten. Sorry, my mind is blanking. Marie-Françoise, I find myself a little bit at a blank right now. My mind is just not responding, or at least
no worries.
this way.
Okay.
If you don't mind, I'd like to go on to the next caller, or just do releasing in general and see what comes up next. Is that acceptable for now?
Sure, no worries. I'll have to hop off anyway. So I already sent you that message, so no problem.
Okay. So, is there anybody else that would like to put their hand up? So in that case, what I think we're going to do is to spend some time releasing on goals. Let me check the chat with quickly here. Just good. All right, then. So I invite you just to open inside and allow all to be just as it is, just for now. And call to mind your goal statement. And you can say it out loud, or you can write it down, or you can just say it in your mind as you like. But just notice all that comes up in relation to that. Notice all that gets stirred up. Notice the memories, thoughts, and feelings. And notice what happens in the belly and the body, the physicality, how that resonates. And just as best you can you let it be like that? In fact, could you summon a bit of courage and invite it up even just a little bit more? Whatever got stirred up. And then check and see if it feels like you'd want to control this. You'd want this to be different. You want to change this. And just notice how much and how intensely that feeling of wanting to change this comes up. Just as best you can, welcome it. And if welcoming is too much, can you just allow it? It's here anyway. This is resistance. And could you breathe into resistance and just give it space? Allow it to be like that. Whatever pushing, whatever pulling. Notice also how intensely personal it comes up. The story of me. And just for now, can it just be like that, if it's like that, as intensely personal as it comes up? And then let's just do a check. Is any of this actually you? Notice that the mind entertains thoughts. Thoughts will come. Where do they come from? And thoughts eventually leave as well. But any of those thoughts actually you? Do you control your thoughts? Or do thoughts simply happen? Notice also what's happening in the body. Notice the adrenaline. Notice the tension. Notice the sensations in the body. Have a look around. Notice. And check and see. Is this really you? Is the body you? If you cut off your arm, are you still you? How much do you have to cut off to not be you? Is the body you? Or do you experience the body? And notice thoughts. Notice sensations. And notice emotions. And just for now, can you allow all this to be as it is and simply rest as who you are? Good. So once again, say your goal statement. Say it to yourself. Write it down, read it out loud, however you like. And just notice what comes up. Notice the thoughts, the stories, the beliefs, the physical sensations. And notice also the courage which brought you to this call, this courage which enables you to surrender all of this for release. So just for now, could you let this go? And would you let this go? And finally, when? All right, let's take one more pass with our goal statement. Think of your goal statement, say it out loud or write it down, however you like. Take a minute to do that. And then when you're ready, check for any resistance to feeling that way. Check for any hidden no's. I'm not sure. I'm not worth it. I don't deserve it. I can't do it. I'm not able. Whatever it is, just notice any no, however subtle. And could you give that permission, since that's here anyway? Just allow it to be as it is, just as best you can. That no, whatever holding on, holding back, whatever resistance. It's human to feel that way. Can you just allow that? Give it permission. And then notice any should or shouldn't, any judgment, how you feel, what you've done in past, your abilities. Just notice the should, the shouldn't, the judgment, and just allow it. Just give it space to be like that. And then check and see if it feels like you, like a part of you, like your story, like it's personal, like it's a reflection on who you are as a person. Notice any sense of the personal about all this. It is your goal, your success, your money, your health, your relationship, your life. Notice how personal it appears. And then finally, when you're ready, can you find the one who feels that way? Can you find the sense of that individual without going into the body? The body isn't you. Without going into memories. Memories are simply records of what might have been. Check and see if you can find that sense of the individual, the person. And whatever came up, could you just give it permission to be like that? Whatever it is. And then when you're ready, could you let all this just drop? Would you? And when? Well, okay, so that's a nice bit of releasing. I'm going to open the floor again. If anyone would like to ask a question, get some assistance, share again.
I have a question, Stephen. So, how often would you suggest that we revisit our goal statement? Or, do we at a certain point just really release it and just allow it to do what it's going to do? You know, I was listening to you earlier about, some of your goals that have yet to manifest. And I just was reflecting on my own experience. And sometimes the things that I'm seeking, the things that I want, the things that I'm just trying to bring into manifestation that don't happen. In hindsight, I can see that it was for my own good. I could see how some of the things that I thought would give me what I was um, seeking in this acquiring this goal, just was not, um, how can I even say it?
May
It
I
didn't
try?
happen. Yeah, it didn't happen. And I can see the wisdom in that, I guess is my point. Yeah. So I just reflecting back on my own experience, I just wanted to just kind of share that. Because the mind kind of creates all these different stories about, what my life would be like if I attained that thing. And it's simply not true. I mean, whatever it is I'm seeking, there's just, it's already here. So anyway, back to my original question of how long would you suggest that we keep kind of focusing on our statements and the manifestation thereof?
So I really wish that I could say to you, sit down, do this, wait 1 month,
Right.
stir and don't shake,
Yeah,
whatever. And then this
sure,
happened.
sure.
And what I was telling you is that, yeah, actually there are some issues in my life which are still unresolved, let's say,
Uh-huh.
where I've had goals
Me too.
where seemingly there's no progress. And again,
Yeah.
when I say seemingly, actually I can see shifts in that direction probably,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah.
Yeah, right.
But also there are things, what I didn't mention as well, there are goals which I had years and years and years ago, worked with, been doing the Sedona Method since 2003.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some goals that I had years and years ago, which I just worked with and worked with and worked with until finally I just kind of, moved on to other things and
Uh-huh.
seemingly forgot them. And then I turn around and go like,
Sure.
oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
actually what I wanted all along. And I have
Yeah.
to say that one thing, for example, this releasing community that we have on WhatsApp
Uh-huh.
is for me personally, the fulfillment of an incredible dream that I had 20
Uh-huh.
years ago.
Uh-huh. Yeah, great. Great.
But
Yeah.
I'd forgotten releasing. I hadn't been releasing about it, or I hadn't thought about it, in those terms until it was actually just fairly recently. I just kind of realized, that's right. That does
Yeah.
actually match
Uh-huh.
what I was looking for.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And I don't mean to put you on the spot. I clearly you can't really speak to everyone's individual experience in terms of how long, that one should or should not kind of keep going over the goals. But I think you really touched on something. I know that for me, I will kind of keep the statement in the forefront until I don't. It just,
Exactly.
it just kind of fades away. Not that I'm not aware of, the still, wanting that manifestation, but I don't, at a certain point, I just stop um,
Right.
rehearsing it or, keeping it in the forefront. And yeah, so I think that that's also another great reason to share our gains, because sometimes it
Exactly.
just brings to mind things that we've been working on and just seeing little incremental little steps in that direction. It's really worth like bringing to consciousness and sharing. Yeah, for sure. I really appreciate that about others as well. Yeah, it really helps me. Yeah. So,
Yeah, and the gains are so important to help us recognize the progress that we've already made that we might not recognize otherwise. Because again,
exactly.
as shifts happen, it becomes the new normal. There's one more aspect of it too, which is this, and I think it's important to mention. Well, so years and years and years ago, when I was in high school, and hello, that's been a while.
Uh-huh.
Um, I was actually taught a much earlier version of manifesting, believe it or not, by a high school physics teacher.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
It doesn't matter. It's a long story. And the point what I wanted to make was that his formula included that once you've come up with your didn't have goal statements in his formula, basically your desire, once you've made that clear, if it feels appropriate, then walk away, forget about it. That was what he was talking about. And there's an element in there which I think applies to what we're doing, and that's this. If you really, 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 really want something, is it possible that also contains with it a kind of a holding on? It's that intense desire to control the outcome. It has to be this way, not that way.
Yeah.
And, again, here we are. What I'm saying is that this is a goals process where you better just let go of actually wanting anything.
Well,
What?
isn't that part of the Sedona, like,
Well, it is.
theoretically,
No, it is.
we release all our wants.
Right. But again, in releasing, the issue is this, though. It's like, so there's a difference between letting go and allowing.
Yes.
Okay?
Sure.
And here's what that difference is specifically. Letting go, there's an outcome which I'm desiring. Is that not true?
I'm sorry, say that again.
If I am letting go, if I'm
Yes.
inviting you, for example, to let go, then there's an outcome. It's going to be this way or it's going to be that way. There's an outcome. And, you can sit there and people very, very often will tell you this. They say, I've been letting go for years and years and years and doing as much as I can and trying as hard as I can. And I'm not making progress.
Well, I
But it's a
feel,
trying as hard as I can right there. Do you catch me?
yes. But I feel like in the releasing, it really frees me up from all that controlling, all that trying to make it happen in a certain particular way,
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe the words are failing me here in terms of wanting or not wanting, but the releasing definitely kind of shifts, it frees me up from acting like I'm the doer.
Yes, exactly.
It
This
just,
is the essence of it right there as well. But again, notice that we releasing versus allowing. Allowing is open-ended.
yes.
Releasing implies a conclusion of some kind. I'm not saying that releasing, by the way, isn't effective or can't be effective, absolutely. But there is that hidden desiring an outcome, which is really the desire for control. You catch me? Yeah. And the same thing with the goals process. When you really are stuck with your goals, it's got to be this, all or nothing. I've got to have this. This is the outcome I desire. Nothing else will do. It's exactly that right there, which is the stuckness.
Sure, absolutely.
And that's the hardest thing to see when you're right up close to it, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah. And so, in all of this goals process, you'll notice I'm very often playful. And
Yeah.
playfulness is, again, playing with open hands. There's an open-ended sense of it. Yeah.
And it's just been my experience that letting it go, I've noticed how, the universe or whatever, beingness or whatever, it's infinitesimal. I mean, in terms of the ways that manifestation can happen. And when I'm so steadfast and holding on, I only have such a minute vision or possibility of how things can unfold for me. And who wants that? I mean, your life can unfold in miraculous ways that you could not have conceived of. because I'm so wedded to the end result. So it's been my life. I mean, I'm just really speaking from my own experience. I mean, things that I could not have conceived um, actually have come to pass. And, um, I just feel the joy. I'm not necessarily even connecting it to a specific goal, but the, um, the joy and the sense of service that I've received, it's beyond words. So
Again, the joy, notice that though, the
yes,
joy comes from the heart.
yes,
And the joy is, I like to say that joy is my compass.
yeah. And that's the thing, we put so much emphasis on the thing happening this way. But if we really look underneath that which we're asking for, we think that this thing will bring us what we really want. And what we really want is that joy. What we
Exactly.
really want is that sense of love and completeness that has nothing to do with anything external outside of ourselves. We operate our stories, and our stories really choke us, and they're so misleading because again, you get that thing, and 2 days later you're back to your laundry list of things. The wanting never stops.
The
So
wanting
anyway,
never.
I don't want to go on and on, but yeah, just that whole thing of
No, you expressed that very well, Maxine. Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, no, I mean it's been my experience. Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, thank you for putting this together, having us kind of come together and just play with our heart's desire, just to kind of open up to what's possible. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Maxine. Absolutely right. And it's interesting how all of this works, actually. I can give you one very bizarre example from my personal life, which is this. When I was a young man, at one point, growing up in the United States, I grew very angry with what I perceived to be the over commercialization of life in the United States. And this is, again, going back 50 years. And so at one moment, I remember I said to somebody, I wish I could live my life as if money had no meaning. And now, again, with the perspective of 50 years looking back, I've very often lived close to the edge financially. I've, never had huge amounts of money. I've very often lived hand to mouth. But I've always lived as if money had no meaning.
Mm,
It's just not an easy way to save money. That's not an easy way to fill your bank account.
yeah.
That's not an easy way to guarantee the posh life.
But back again to just our stories, the posh life. I
Right.
mean, let's look at those that are living the posh life. I mean, do they look happier than you? I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty doubtful that
Oh, sorry.
again, all that external stuff is really worth seeking. But we have to do it until we don't. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, it's our desire until it's not. But if we just really look closely, look around those that have the kind of life that you're aspiring to, are do they really seem to have it made? Or anyway, yeah. So it's really very interesting how we live out our dreams. You terms of just having that deep-seated belief that, you know, wanting to live, you know, with money having no meaning, you know, and poof, here you are. You know, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
To continue
And
what I
so
was
I think that that's really kind of the whole point in this goal setting of goals and intention, is just to kind of play with, not, you know, grab hold to like it has any significance outside of just you know, the stories that we tell ourselves and the way that we kind of hypnotize ourselves into giving it some kind of meaning. It doesn't have anything other than that. But I think that kind of directing this experience while we're here, directing it, you know, in certain ways is kind of fun to kind of see, you know, how things manifest, and not from a judgmental standpoint, but it's miraculous us living this life and how it unfolds. And it's and the power, well, conceivably, this power we have to live our dreams, you know, live our dreams, whatever they are, you know, whatever. So the caution, I guess maybe I would kind of suggest, is just, you know, we can be more intentional. And that's what we're doing here today. We're being more intentional.
That's the point
Yeah.
of the exercise. Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I'm just going to ask if anybody has any further requests for assistance or sharing or any kinds of questions. I'm sensing that we've kind of reached the end of it. We've done an hour. We could go on. It's just, I don't know, for me personally, I'm feeling a little bit, I'm feeling like the end of the call, actually.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been quite a week, actually. It has been.
Mm.
But I will give everybody one more chance, last call. If anybody wants to bring something up, ask a question, share a gain, whatever it might be.
Mhm. I got an email that Hal is kind of hosting a session at 11. So,
Oh, good point. Yeah, you're right. We would have all received that email. If you want to go listen to Hale, that's another good thing to do. So, okay,
Sure.
I'm going to say goodbye to everybody for now. This call will be, again, available on YouTube. I thank you all for taking part in this and for the courage that it takes to share yourselves on a recorded call.
Mm.
I don't know exactly when I'm going to be doing the next goals workshop, but I love to do these. It may be a monthly thing. We'll see how it evolves.
Mhm. Mhm. Wonderful.
Again, everybody, thank you so very, very much for taking part. So there we go.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank
Stephen.
you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Take good care.
Bye.
Have a great weekend.